So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word being used, and this translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage. So then we find ourselves studying then the prophecies of Yeshayahu, very important, because Yeshayahu spoke during a time where not even the first service was yet completed. People did not understand yet the shadow prophetic events of the instructions. But then, these specific prophets spoke words related with the restoration period and the completion of the first service, and then the practicing of the tabernacling. Tabernacling, combining first and second services. He spoke completion words where we don't have the record yet. But Ruach HaKodesh is very smart. He can obviously lead the people regarding these special words spoken by the prophet. And he spoke those words very clearly. But then we are studying these days what goes on then with the level of heaven and with the level of the earth. If a person would come from the Creator and giving then a warning or a word of wisdom, what would a person say? Based upon the facts already discovered, what could a person conclude? How would then we would decipher the word from the Creator besides what He spoke of? As we understand, time of restoration, there is nothing new. It can't be anything new. Has to be what was already established. So those situations are resolved. But as far as with the information given thus far, what could we conclude? A person would say, maybe the Creator is trying to show us. From the evidence so far gathered, without speaking with a functioned prophet of the Israelic lineage, we can clearly understand nations at the time should then work with their own government's taxation system. It's very obvious. These areas of then the future and the relationship with countries, and each with its own, then related with the third part of the ships of the country neutral regarding then the trade of the end, and then much later coming then the sons of Ishmael to make relationship with them. So then we begin our quest understanding the Israelic lineage and also the Ishmaelic lineage, where we find both of them combining, and then these understandings being very solidly then placed on paper and recorded. Not only this, but then each system updating their taxation system is going to be an absolutely must, because then when the system of the Chinese comes, they have to line up their own with it. So then nations are then obviously in line with the instructions, and then we begin our quest then understanding yet the kingdom to come, because so far we are only dealing with areas of the level of the existing prophecies spoken related with the earth's level. So then we understand the time of restoration. But so far we have not explored much of yet the kingdom to come, because it's so disorganized at the moment, and as far as our own country is extremely disorganized, and we don't have even our tax code lined up. So then, for those who are understanding and do read first obviously the Quran and then the Israelic lineage, they begin to understand the time of the end. And the normal understanding when the Creator then is indicating salvation is when a person becomes interested in what the Creator then is doing. Otherwise would indicate lack of salvation, obviously. So then we find ourselves studying these holy documents and determining what's coming then in the future. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.